Hey guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Kenroy here. Now in today's video, Sapphire and I will be carrying on with our bedroom renovation project. Now this is part 3 guys in the series, and if you'd like to see what we did in part 1 and 2, please don't hesitate to check out the playlist of our bedroom renovation. Now as I've said before, this has been a project that is long overdue. Now here on our channel guys, Sapphire and I have always tried to find the most economical way to enhance our home for our family, and it's finally time for us to do this for our bedroom. Now I've done the paneling, it's all attached to the wall, and in today's video we will be doing that tedious task of painting. Yes, we're going to be watching paint dry today guys, but we hope that it won't be a boring task, as it will hopefully encourage you if you're thinking about doing a similar project. Now the average cost of painting a bedroom is around £400, which is a lot of money, considering that Sapphire and I are hoping to spend around that amount of money to do this entire project from start to finish. This includes sanding the panels, as you can see me doing here, as well as changing the light fixtures and fittings, which is coming up in a future video. We'll even do creative things like upcycling IKEA dressers and even changing the skirting on our bed just to freshen things up a little bit. So if you like this kind of stuff guys, you're in the right place. Now as for painting, it turns out that not a lot of people actually enjoy doing this job. However, I don't mind it so much, as I love the way things look once it's all done and finished. Now we could have saved that money and actually paid someone to come and do all this work. However, we've realized that over the years we have been able to save ourselves thousands and thousands of pounds by simply doing it ourselves. I mean, we did the same thing with our garden, which would have costed us over £6,000 to renovate when we moved in 4 years ago. And we've all know, and if you've seen the video guys, I'll put the link above. It's amazing what can happen if you learn to do things yourself. So first things first, when painting you've got to prepare your surfaces. That includes sanding everything down, hoovering the dust, and making sure that you remove any items that you don't want to get paint on. For example, light fixtures and fittings. Now, paints have shot up in price, and it's no surprise because everything is more expensive, right? And the reality is that if you're trying to do things on a budget, you may well want to check your garage to see what was left from the previous owner of your property, because if like us, we were gifted with these tubs of paints which you can see here, which are a Dulux Brilliant White as well as a Wilko Brilliant White. Now rest in peace Wilko, we all know what's been going on there at the moment, as the company is currently going for administration and will be closing down, and my hearts and prayers goes out to all those workers who will be losing their jobs. Now the great news guys, I've been saving up these tubs of paint which was left from the previous owner, which means I won't have to buy any paint in order to paint the ceilings and the walls in our bedroom. The first things first, once you've sanded, hoovered and made sure that you've laid out your dust sheets, you've got to give your paint a good thorough mix, especially when it's been sitting in your garage for years. You can sometimes add a little bit of water with emulsion paint just to make it thin enough, especially for that first coverage, and make it easier to roll. Now Sapphire has decided to go with the color scheme of white and gold for our bedroom. And of course, being a good husband, I've got no issues with that. However guys, we've decided to go with a really bright, vivid green, which we found on the Dulux app. Now this is a really creative app where you can choose almost any shade of any color, and you can go down to your Homebase store, which I've done here, and actually get it mixed for you. Now just be aware that sometimes it doesn't seem as dark or as bright as you would like it to be, but once you've painted it and it dried, somehow miraculously it always seems to go closer to the shade which you've chosen. Yellow in there, it's got white, it's got a little bit, was that like a blue? So what's that it's putting in now? It looks... Ah, right. It doesn't even look anything like...
There's all your
yeah.
the recipe, like...
A recipe for my paint. I love that. Yeah. Now the cost for this 2.5 litre tin was £35, which isn't cheap, but nor is it the most expensive thing.
Shaking up earlier.
I must say though, this is the second time I've done this, and when I look at it online or in the pictures or it always looks so different. Like, it looks a lot lighter here.
And it will dry darker.
It will dry darker.
Oh, shit.
Because I did it with my kitchen cupboard when we were doing the kitchen. I took a bit of the wood, and when I opened it I was like, oh my gosh, that's not gonna match. But then I took it home, I painted some skirting and stuff, and yeah, it does look like it. So I'm gonna remain positive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So now that we've got our paints, I also have my brushes which I use year after year. Make sure you give them a good wash and a good clean and store them away nicely. I mean, this saves cost rather than buying brushes each time. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is giving our panel, which is now sanded, its first coat, which is basically an undercoat. Now the MDF board will absorb most of this paint and it will look quite whitewashed, but nevertheless guys, this will make a really good surface when we apply the green paint later on. Now, being a family with girls, we always try to encourage them to try and do new things, and sometimes these new things include learning how to paint. Now Abigail and Naomi were excited to give this a go, as was Sapphire, and in no time at all, with the help of my girls, we were able to paint the panel in, giving it its first coat, and you can already see how the bedroom is being transformed. Now we chose to go for a white bedroom because we absolutely enjoy the light as it shines through our window, and we wanted to promote that in our bedroom. Now I thought I'd share a little tip with you guys about painting. When it comes to painting, the preparation work is actually just as important as the actual painting. And the reason for this is it helps to create a better finish. It helps to reduce you getting paint marks over other items such as, you know, mirrors or light fixtures and switches, and of course the carpet. So it's a good idea to throw down a dust sheet, get out your masking tape. This takes time, however, you'll be so glad you did it in the end. Okay, so here you go guys, I've pretty much painted the entire room in white so far, and this took me a few evenings. Now Sapphire and I decided to give up our Netflix time, or whatever it is we used to do to kill those few hours in the evenings. So after work guys, I'll dedicate at least 2 hours to doing a bit of painting, and this took me about a week. So if you can imagine, around 2 hours each day, plus a Sunday afternoon, probably took me like a day and a half to paint the entire bedroom in total, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a long time. So guys, I thought I'd just share this little tip with you in case you didn't know. So if you, like me, get stuck into painting and you may not have enough time to do it all in one day. Say for example, I started painting yesterday but I wasn't able to finish. I knew I was going to come home this evening and start painting again. I decided, rather than washing this paintbrush and my roller to end up using them in the same white paint today, I simply wrapped it in a plastic bag, tied a knot to make it as airtight as possible. You can double bag this, and what you find is that it remains nice and soft, as you can see here. You don't have to waste time washing it out only to get it dirty again with the paint. And so this is how I normally do it whenever I'm painting. I've done the same with my brush, and so I can literally remove them from the bag and pick up where I left off. So this works really well if you're using the same color paint the following day. And I have done this and left it for days on end. Keep it in a cool, dry place, or you can dip it in a bucket of water, as long as you don't get it submerged, just to keep it cool and prevent the paint from actually drying. So that's a top tip guys. So now I simply need to just remove this bag and we're good to go. Okay guys, rather than trying to cram everything into one super long video, I decided to break each component of this makeover down into a series. And so there will be a part 2 of us actually painting the rest of this bedroom. So I'm going to wrap up this video now with just a few shots of us actually painting the ceiling of the bedroom. Now the ceiling was always in white, so it was pretty straightforward to give it an extra coat, just to freshen things up. Now you might have noticed this oftentimes when you do makeovers, the ceiling gets neglected, but it's a great way to freshen things up, and white is always a brilliant choice. Now I've made sure to detach all fixtures and fittings so it's easy for me to paint around them, and this is the finished result. Now stick around guys, as we hope to see you again very soon, where we will complete painting off the paneling in our bedroom, as well as touching on the bedroom door, which is long overdue for a lick of paint. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel guys, we really appreciate it.